This is a tour of my 2018 Promaster City van that I converted for using it as a sleeper travel van. Have spent 2 weeks in the van and have been testing it over a couple of years now as far as van life and living within the van in both urban and rural settings. What you see right now from the outside, this is an 8-gallon hot water tank. It's just PVC pipes in the shape of a U. There is a big solar panel that covers the entire roof and ventilation underneath that. You've got some lighting, some LED lighting, and I do store some recovery boards underneath the solar panel, and I do have tools that I store and lock on each side within those cubby space here. There is a custom windbreaker in the front. I'll show you an image of that. So here's another view of the van. These are just the stock steel wheels that I painted, kind of a metallic black. This is a custom windbreaker, which is just like a spoiler with some rubber paneling that I put up here. And here you see the hot water tank, which is pressurized, and I'm in Florida, so that gets super, super hot, and under pressure it's probably get a good 5-6 showers out of that, and for other uses, for washing and whatnot. From the back, in the garage, and I just want to point out, I don't cook inside the van. I rarely eat inside the van, but I do have access all the way through. This refrigerator, I pull it out, lean it down, and I'm able to pull anything I need out of there from the outside and also from the inside, depending on how I've got the inside configured. Again, there's no bed platform, and so what I do is I just move the cushions around to accommodate them in one of 3 configurations. And so I've got my tools in here, and I've got an air fryer, and we've got a hot plate, and I've got a heating element I use whenever I want to heat water. I've got some, all the electrical panels over here on the left, and I just have a meter for what my volt reading is. I've got a solar controller for the panel on the roof. I'll show you that in a minute. Here's the front view with that air windbreaker. And from the top, you can see that the entire roof is covered by a solar panel. Now, there are holes in the roof that have been, there's a lip on those holes to keep water from coming in. No water gets into the van, and it is always ventilated. There's a custom fan build here, and then I just use this side as an extractor. There's also a fan to push air out. I can move a lot of air inside of there, and this is Florida, so ventilation is very important. I use these sprayers, these Home Depot sprayers. I use one as just a cleaning agent, and on the inside I've got one that has got body wash, and so just to kind of clean the interior and clean myself, and just a wash or whatever I need to do from the inside. I'll show you some of the setup there with how I do the bathroom. So it is with the back doors closed. You can see the entire roof is covered by that solar panel, which is nice because it blocks the sun while collecting energy. From the inside, and if I'm sitting leaning back against the front seats pushed all the way forward, I've got a 27-inch 12-volt monitor that I connect to the power system. On the left here, I've got a 5-gallon water supply that's elevated. And we'll talk about this funnel and how it's used. And then I've got just like a Home Depot bucket with a toilet seat on it, and just use regular grocery store plastic bags to line that whenever we need to use that. This is just an auxiliary speaker that's connected to this monitor. It works real good. It's like 20 watts. So from the inside, when it's sitting in what I'll just call seated mode, these couches, which are like 48 wide by 32 deep by about 6 inches high, and there's 2 of them, fit exactly perfectly, bumping up against the refrigerator. It's a pretty big refrigerator that's right behind that. And so use this to sit down, and obviously there's no seat belts, not legal seats within the van, but it can be used like a couch, facing forward. Usually, rarely in this configuration, unless I need to haul something, or unless I just need to sit here to whatever. This funnel, there's an opening, a natural opening within the van that I just expanded, but this funnel just funnels out to the bottom of the van. There's no tanks or anything like that. Use this for whatever we need to. So when the two cushions are laid out flat, this is what they look like, and this is kind of lounge mode, where I don't fit this direction. I do fit in this direction, and the front seats push forward or about right here. I can just use a pillow. I'm 6'2", and I fit perfectly from end to end without bumping my feet into this fridge. So there's another foot and a half of van for the outside door there. Here's just another picture of that. Now, ventilation on the inside is purely custom. I just got this. This is what they call a beauty ring or something for one of those commercial fans. There's no commercial fan. The black area here you see there is the bottom of the solar panel, and then I've got some screening in here. And so all of this, the peripheral of this is the perimeter of this is just metal screening to keep the bugs out, but plenty of airflow blows in. I've just got an LED light here on the roof. The roof itself is insulated and has spray and foam screwed into the metal studs on the roof. And then, of course, we've got the solar panel. So there's a lot of R value up there between those things under direct sunlight. Of course, in the middle of the day in Florida, all of that doesn't matter. The van will get unbearably hot starting at about midday, depending on what part of Florida, because there are parts of Florida where it seems to get cooler earlier and stays cooler at night, like up in Highlands County or around Sebring. There's just a close-up of that custom fan, and this is just like a $10 fan from eBay or Amazon, and it's a 12-volt fan, and I built this enclosure for it, the strap for it, and that's the solar panel. Works great, very cheap to put together, and very operational. Has been working solidly for a couple of years now. Now, I don't have an auxiliary battery. What I do have is a 150 amp hour battery, and I did the cutout for this. I had to actually remove the factory tray and squeeze this in there. It just barely fits. I think it's something like 14 by 7 by 10 high, 10 inches high. Those are inches. And so this battery is always charged up with that solar panel on the roof. And in the middle of the day, there's always plenty of power to run my refrigerator. There's enough reserve capacity to run the fan on full and to run the refrigerator overnight. In the morning, I'm still north of 12 volts, usually around 12.3, so I'm usually fine. If it's been raining all day or there's heavy usage, usually I run the engine at night before going to sleep. It's cools off the cab, and also if I'm going to watch TV or charge up my electronics, it's always just a good idea right before just to run the engine a little bit, because it is being fed by both the alternator and that solar panel, and this has worked very nicely. There have been no issues with this. Did have a previous battery that you had to keep watered, and that was a huge mistake, and I wouldn't recommend having any kind of deep cycle battery that needs water in an automotive setting because of the corrosion and some of the challenges with that. I would really say don't go cheap on the batteries, on a battery. And again, this is lead acid. There's no lithium within the van, and this is just a cheap option that has worked great. Zero gauge wires underneath the seat, run an inverter. I do have a 1200 watt. I have a 2000 watt inverter that does run some of the heavier appliances like the air fryer and anything I need to run off of 110, which is rare because most everything inside the van is running on 12 volts. And this is my torque. Just kind of a different kind of build in that there is no platform, and that's, you know, these are the big differences. There's no platform. I'm on the floor of the van, so it's super stable. I'm 6'2", 240, and didn't want to have to climb up into anything. This is also a tiny space. If I'm on my knees, you know, I don't touch the roof. If I am laying flat, I don't. My feet don't touch anything in the back. You know, this counter is great. If I set these two up and I push it back, it actually works great as a counter. Just a great minimalist setup. I'm trying to think here. Obviously, you know, take care of business with this and this, and nothing fancy. No running water, no plumbing, you know, nothing like that. No interior cooking, nothing. The solar system just working great, and serves to shield the roof. There's some storage under there. This back counter, I use it to, you know, if I'm standing, this is a perfect height for eating, working, cooking, typing. You know, got some lighting in here. It's just like a little rolling workbench, and it can also serve as a kitchen. It's a tight space. It's for one, and I did put these straps in to hold some of my tools, my 18-volt tools. So yeah, that's a quick tour. This is the hose on the tank, and here's the pressure valve. What I do is I fill it through the hose as well, and I just make sure that I'm releasing air out of the tank as I'm running it. And that's torque.